All right. What up, though? What's good with you? What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 6 of SyndiCats 365. We got yours truly, Lions Syndicate, in the building. And to my whatever side this is, what, my left, your right, we got Motor City Cats. What up, though, man? Never gets old. Never gets old, man. I'm going to keep it a buck. Never gets old. Shout out to Lions Live 365. What up, though, man?
It's good, Daddy. It's a good day to be a Lions fan.
Yeah, it really is, man. So listen, I need you guys to do me a favor in the chat. I need you to tell me about my audio versus their audio. So make sure it's as even as possible. I can go up on theirs, down on mine. I was a wee bit loud last show. It was off-putting, but we're going to try and get that right. Technology is a trip. So want to apologize for being late, man. We got 3 working brothers. That should have been the name of the show. 3 brothers working. And we are, trying to get in when we can. So we want to make sure, we let y'all know that. But we got some Lions news, man. Couple of things that didn't happen. But before we do that, I got some news to tell you guys. You guys already know I'm a season ticket holder. So, I'm excited about that, and I'm scared at the same time. It was a grip. That's one of the reasons that I'm working, because it was a grip and a half, bro. So, I'm excited. First time that I've been a season ticket holder, so hopefully they don't disappoint. But we got Motor City Cats in the building. What's good with you, bro?
Man, just working, doing what I do. I work to pay the bills.
I do too. I do too. I think we all, that goes without saying, my brother.
No hate.
Hey, well, I think your dollar go a little further than mine too, brother. I think, right? Yeah.
At currently, it never does, but maybe currently.
Okay. All right. I see that little symbol change, man. I had to send somebody some money in Australia, man. And then when I was like, "Ooh, all right." Well, Lions Live, what up with you, bro? What's good with you?
Man, it's everything going good, man. It's been a pretty good day. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You can't really tell with you, brother. It's like,
Hey.
you can't. All right, let me know about the. Let me know about the audio.
You know what we need to call him?
What?
We need to call him bruh, man. What you doing, bruh, man? Nothing. Just chilling. About to make me a sandwich.
I can't call it. I can't call it. Just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, man. Look, so the Lions kind of a decent week 1 in free agency. Week 2 seemed like they doing a couple things. I know we signed it a couple guys today and a guy yesterday. So Brad making some sneaky good moves. He making some good moves, some sneaky good. I know, listen, I had a lot of people, somebody in the comment section today was like, Derek, you're changing about Brad Holmes. I said, I'm not changing about Brad Holmes. I said, but not every move that he makes, I'm just going to rip up. He doesn't miss all the time. And I'm not really tripping on any of the moves, but we'll start with the one we made yesterday. Shout out to the person in the comment section. We signed DJ Wonnum to a 1-year deal up to $6 million, very similar to the AQM deal. And I know we've been talking about him off the air. So Lions 365. I'm gonna start with you, brother. Mike, I'm gonna start with you, my brother. How we feeling about DJ Wonnum? Because it seemed like you ain't really want him. If I'm gonna keep it a buck.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't stand that move. I was like, yo, man, if we're gonna do that, to be honest, he would have been available after the draft. We might as well see who we draft and avoid him. I don't know. Like, he not like, and then when I look at the tape, when I look at some of these videos, I'm like, he not getting to the passer. You know what I'm saying? He keep trying. The time to pressure is going to be exactly the same. It takes forever from the quarterback. Even the highlights take forever. I'm like, man, when is he going to get there? Like, nah, man. DJ Wonnum, I ain't want him. Out of all the signings, I ain't like that. I ain't like him at all. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I am shocked
to be like Mr. Brad Holmes, but no, not that one.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned some things before we go to Don. You mentioned some things as to why didn't you why you not really feeling that signing?
I want to. At some point, we got to make a move that affects the quarterback, and I don't feel like he affects the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, the leading with run defense in every signing is annoying me at this point. And it's just like, to me, he's 28. It's not like we got younger, that much younger or anything like that. The raw numbers looks like, oh, we got a better pass rusher, but he's playing significantly more snaps. So he should have better numbers. If you're playing 700 snaps and comparing this guy, comparing him to AQM, he is a downgrade as a pass rusher. And we're getting more run defense. That's the last thing we need. We got run defense. We can't get to the quarterback.
Okay, so you're not impressed by his 8 sacks is what you're saying? Not
at all. If it take you 700 snaps to get 8 sacks, and I got a guy that's giving you 12 and 400, I see a difference in production, and I'd rather have the guy that's in Tampa right now. It better be a lot of up to $6 million. It better be a lot of incentives.
That's crazy, because if you put it like that, that's like 1 sack every like you said, like 800 or 700 snaps that it took him.
700. It's almost 1 every 100. Yeah,
1 every 100. That is crazy. All right, Don, what's your thoughts, bro, on DJ Wonnum?
I mean, it's definitely not a needle mover, but as Mike said, he's better against the run than AQM, and I really don't care. I just need. I totally agree with Mike. We do not need to keep pounding the table with this run defense. It's like I'm gonna go to this wall over here and just keep banging my head against it to like, we're just doing the same stuff. And not that the signing was bad, not that he's a terrible player, but my fear is this. We're gonna notice this when we start talking about the draft, because I've started doing this with my chat. It doesn't matter if you have 9 picks. How many of those guys are going to be starters? We did something interesting with my chat just before we came on here, and I'm probably going to continue this tomorrow. But Robert Stevens, shout out Robert Stevens, he asked how, like, out of the Super Bowl teams, how many people were drafted? So we started with the Seahawks. Do you know, and we're talking about drafted starters, do you know, Brad? So where would you put John Schneider? Mike, where would you put John Schneider in as a drafter? Would you put him above Brad Holmes, or, because I used to call him Draft Holmes. I'm no longer calling him Draft Holmes anymore. Would you put him above Brad Holmes?
As a drafter, I think he's underrated as a drafter, but it's helped that they sucked for a year or two. We kind of had the same help, so I would put him as a better drafter. Like, he got bowls and stuff, so like I'll rock out with them. Ain't that the guy that drafted Russell Wilson? Yeah, I'll rock out with him.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But most Lions fans would not. However, I'll just show you guys some information. Okay. Out of the 22 starters on the Seattle Supersonics, I always do it. Out of the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl winning team, 15 starters were drafted. Let's pay attention to the rounds. Jackson Smith and Jigba was drafted in round 1. Charles Cross, who is a left tackle, was drafted in round 1. Abraham Lucas, who's a right tackle, was drafted in round 3. That's where we draft people like Broderick Martin. Okay. Gray Zabel, round 1 this year. Anthony Bradford, right guard. You know where he was drafted? Round 4. Oluwatimi, the center, the starting center. You know where was he drafted? Round 5. You know where we drafted a guy on the offensive line? Round 5. His name was Colby Sorsdahl. Okay, let's continue. Defensive tackle Byron Murphy. Round 1. Nose tackle Jaron Reed. Round 2. Now, Jaron Reed was drafted by the Seahawks, left in free agency, came back. Right? That's fine, but he was originally drafted. Outside linebacker, Boye Mafe, round 2. Outside linebacker, Derek Hall, round 2. Inside linebacker, Tyrese Knight, round 4. Devon Witherspoon, round 1. Reek Woolen, round 5. Nick Emanwari, round 2. And then for poops and giggles, we can throw this in there. I don't really care. It's the punter, Michael Dixon, round 5. But we found that John Schneider was just he finds starters everywhere. Round 5, it doesn't matter, right? So when we look at the picks that we have on this team, how many of them are going to be starters? And then you start looking at, okay, if you don't address edge, just like last year, I said it's going to be a lot of anxiety on when Brad's going to address the edge if you don't do it in round 1. And he said, 6th round. I don't know. Is that enough? 6th round. That good enough? I don't know. 6th round. No, Brad, it wasn't good enough. The Egyptian magician. Okay. So now that's the worry that I have. You signed DJ Wonnum, who's an underwhelming signing. Is he going to roll into the season as your starter? You sign Roger McCreary and Christian Isian. Are they going to roll into the season as your starting nickels and whatever? Isian is going to play hybrid nickel safety. You sign Larry Borum, $5 million guaranteed. So now you have to get a tackle in round 1, because if not, the guy who wasn't supposed to start in Miami is your starter. He was starting in Miami because somebody got injured, and he started 11 games. So this is the trepidation that I have with any of these moves, is the complacency that we have. Oh, these are our guys. We love our guys. We believe in our guys. We have so much trust in our guys, says Dan Campbell. Some of these guys shouldn't be starting. And a lot of them we think are depth signings. They're going to be starters.
I can't agree with that.
All right, let me get in real quick.
You can't agree with that? Okay.
All right, let me get in real quick and get my thoughts about Wonnum. All right, so Wonnum is I was confused yesterday because the numbers, the monetary compensation for Wonnum says that he's a starter. The monetary compensation for Borum says that he's a starter. And I'm not upset with the move because he's better at the run. And I'm like, we needed a depth guy. But what's confusing me is the money, because you paid Marcus Davenport, and let me know, make sure, guys, let me know about the sound compared to theirs. I don't want to be too loud. You paid Marcus Davenport 6.9 year 1, 4.5 year 2. The numbers that Wonnum is getting tells me if Brad continues along what he's been doing, then Wonnum will be number 2. And Cam Jordan came out today, said some things that to me is going to put Detroit off the map unless Brad is ready to pony up that dough. So I'm not upset about it.
What Cam say?
Cam said Cam said that it's 3 things that'll bring him to a team. He wants to be in warm weather. That's where he would prefer, because he's going to want to do some off the field things, and Detroit is not that place. But he said he doesn't want to go to Buffalo, Cleveland, Baltimore, stuff like that, because they're outside. He said it unless the money right. And it was something he said, the last thing he said is he wants to legitimately compete for a Super Bowl. And I was like, I don't know if that's here. Maybe last year we would have been saying that. This year we ain't saying that. So for me, I'm not tripping on Wonnum, and that'll, after you guys follow up, we'll get into our next signing. But I don't dislike it. I don't love it. I feel like right now, Brad is somewhat evolved in gutting the team of the old guys and the regime founders and all of that stuff. But he's bringing in fresh blood. But strategically, financially, he's doing the same thing he's been doing, which is kind of like that dink dunk. So for me, I'm nervous if Wonnum is number 2, because right now with Aleem McNeil and what's my man named Tyleek Williams, I don't know if we still if those guys are enough to help Wonnum get 8 sacks, or if he's gonna get 3 like he had last year. So I'm not upset with the signing. But Mike, you wanted to say something to Don.
I just don't think I don't think that they're going to go into this year like, okay, DJ Wonnum is going to be, even his name sound like a joke to me. DJ Wonnum.
Well, I mean, it's easy. That's easy. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't think he's going to be, I'm not even sure he's going to be defensive end number. I'd have him.
Wait, you don't know if he's going to be what?
I don't think he's going to be
2.
defensive end number 2. I don't even think
Ain't no
he's
way.
going to be 2 or
Ain't no
3,
way for
honest.
6 mil,
I'm not
bro.
even sure.
We gave the dude up to 6 mil. There's no way.
It better be like that Khalif Raymond 6 mil. Like, hey, there's so many incentives. You never gonna see. You might not even see 3 mil. It better be that, because it's just like there's no reason to choose him over AQM in my opinion, because like he's not. Because if he's like, you can't even use him as a specialist. Like, you can't even really use him like a specialist. He's not that good at rushing the passer for him to be a specialist. So, like, at the end of the day, it's like I just see him as a depth piece, and I would be I'd be so surprised if they didn't get 2 or 3 defensive ends this particular draft. Now, last year, I knew it was no. Y'all can act surprised. I called the first round defensive tackle last year. You said you could check my Twitter. I knew it was going to happen.
Hey, look, we believe you, bro.
But at the end of the day, like with defensive end, I just don't see it. They've left the defensive end so bare. Mm-hmm. There's no way. There's no way.
Just to throw this out there. So the dude is getting up to $6 million. We didn't want to pay AQM up to $6 million. You got the age. There's a difference there. But you think a $6 million, up to $6 million player on our team, based on Brad's history, is a depth piece? AQM was making 1.5. I just don't know how that's the case.
It's probably one of those not likely to be earned incentive-based contracts that don't even really count against the cap. They don't even expect him to hit half of those incentives, and that's just where I'm at. Like, if you get 12 sacks, of course you gonna get this $6 million. I doubt it. I just doubt it. I just doubt it.
I don't think that's come out yet. I don't think the breakdown. It seems like it's like a week late. I think some guys just came out today. Shout out to Michael. Says, Derek, I really like this crew. I think the 3 are great. Love the show already. Appreciate that, man. Episode 6 in the building. Yeah, we do work well together. Not too many ego. We all got egos, but they in check. You know what I'm saying? It's when the egos get bigger than the goal. You know what I mean? That's when it get kind of crazy. When you know everything, then that's usually when it don't work out. I mean, it always is like, it's one cat that know everything. They got to always tell you that they know everything. Not just like, oh, I was right, you were wrong, but they got to really, really rub it in your face about every little nitpicky thing. And they swear that they've called every single draft pick in the history of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. But anyway, it's
on their whiteboard. They know.
Yeah. All right. So we got Wonnum, and it looks like really, I don't mind him. Mike didn't want him, and Don is down. Where are you at?
Like, is I just have my opinion on it is it comes with a caveat. If he's the starter, I hate it. If he is going to be, you're all right,
bro. I'm glad. Wow. Woo! I almost ruined my entire the keyboard. We just shorted out everything. Wow.
So yeah, if he's a starter, I hate it. But if he's going to, and that's why I looked like that when you said they're going to get 2 or 3 edge rushers, because I'm like, when has Brad ever done that? When has he ever paid attention to the edge in the draft? No, and I'm talking about actual resources. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about Aiden Hutchinson type resources. I'm not talking about 6th-round draft picks.
With Hutch, when he drafted with Hutch, because they drafted Josh Pascal, even though he was a DT, he was drafted for defensive end. So they drafted.
That's not
Hutch.
No.
They drafted. They
drafted. If my grandmother had wheels, she'd have been a bike. No, we're not doing that.
But what position did he play for the Lions? What position did he play for the Lions? He played defensive end.
Look.
He played defensive for the Lions.
Tyler Lacey is a defensive tackle that was playing defensive end. Aleem McNeil was a defensive tackle that was playing defensive end. These are not defensive ends.
I don't make the scheme. All right.
You can put lipstick on a pig, but that's not going to make it a woman. It's still going to be a pig.
So this is what this feels like. I'm always going at it with Mike. You know what? Let me sit back and relax. Go ahead. I'm enjoying the show.
Because he drafted 3 defensive ends in the same draft. He doubles
That's
up
not
at
a defensive
positions.
end.
Wait,
it is.
Who? Wait. What 3?
What
3?
Because you put somebody. Look, if I'm a quarterback and you put me at wide receiver, does that make me a wide receiver? No, you drafted me. I was a quarterback. That's my designation. You did not spend resources on a wide receiver. I'm a quarterback.
And
you drafted a quarterback, and then you put me at wide receiver.
I got to throw this in there. I don't think, Mike, that's fair that they try to convert him when that's not what they drafted. So to Don's point about like defensive ends, right? So Josh Pascal, I swear, the entire internet was trying to convince me that this dude was taken as a DE. And I said, dude, like, I don't remember what happened yesterday, but I remember that they had that little graphic on the screen. It said Kentucky and it said DT. It said DT. So I'm like, but no, he said, no, we were putting him sometimes at DE. So, but I gotta side with Don on this one, bro. Like he drafted, they didn't. So you mentioned Aiden, him, and who else? James Houston. Is that what the third one?
It was Aiden, Josh Pascal, and then it was James Houston. My thing about it is in this particular defense, as much as I hate it, on 1st and 2nd down, the power edge, who is defensive tackle size, if you play 66% of your snaps at one position, that's your position. I'm sorry. 1st and 2nd down, you're at defensive end.
But that's your position after they put you there. That doesn't mean that's what you were when you were drafted.
In the NFL, what did he play? Defensive end. That's what I'm gonna say. He's just defensive end.
I got a question for you. This is a simple question for you. You've got a Pontiac Firebird. Okay, we're going to keep it Michigan. You got a Pontiac Firebird with a permanent roof. Is that a convertible? No. Then you take it to West Coast Customs and you chop the roof off. Is it now a convertible?
No.
Yeah, there you go.
But at the end of the day, so say at 17
you bought a car that was not a convertible. Then you had to take it to West Coast Customs and put some switches on it, make it hydraulics, do whatever you wanted. Put some 20s on it, some spokes. You know what I mean?
That's still
like you bought a Michigan car. You bought a Michigan car, right? All grit, Ford, Trans Am, freaking Pontiac, all that. Then you took it over to the West Coast and you put 100 spokes on it. You had, you know what I'm saying? You had switches. It was riding spinners if you want to take it to the South. That's not what it was when you bought it. You bought the car from Michigan. You took it to West Coast Customs and made it a California G-Wagon, custom vehicle. You had to do that. But what you bought was an East Coast Michigan staple. It was a Pontiac Firebird. It was a Trans Am. It was a freaking Buick. It was a Ford. Whatever it was, came straight out of the GM factory. Then you took it and made it something else. And that's what Brad is doing. He's drafting defensive tackles. And then he's putting those guys who can't get to the passer at edge rusher. And Shep is a major component to that. He did that foolishness crazy this year, like it was something that you should be doing. I looked Tyler Lacey. I looked at him and I said, "Hey, you ever play defensive end?" He looked at me like I was crazy. Yes, you are. Right. You are crazy, Shep. That man is 350 pounds. He is not a defensive end.
He probably looked at him. He's like, "Yo, you weigh in at 290. You 5 pounds less than Josh Pascal. That's what we've been putting that defensive end for the last 3 years. You look just like a Lion defensive end. That's the problem. That's what I've been saying. That's the thing is the thing that bothers me is that college has gotten smaller, so there is less of a pool of players to actually draft at the position that you're drafting them at. They're not. We do what other teams do and say, "Oh, the college product is getting smaller, so let's get smaller with them so we can have talent that we can use." No, but now what may happen is we may actually make a sacrifice at tackle and go get the one big defensive end that I see in the draft, and I don't even think he's good at rushing the passer.
Ooh, all right, so
that's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, I don't want to.
You know why you knew? You know why you knew exactly who I was talking about? Because it's one of them. It's one of them in the whole draft.
Okay, all right. So I got a question, Mike. This one for you, bro, because you mentioned something, and when you talk about we got the Brad Holmes versus Dan Campbell debate. And we have it all the time. And you team, Don is the middle. He like team. They both can get it, can go. You know what I'm saying? You are pro Brad. I'm anti Brad. So my thing is, you mentioned something about the scheme and bringing in we bring in DTs to play DE. But so do you think that Dan Campbell is forcing Brad's hand with that? Because if I'm the general manager and I have a conversation like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing that? So do you think, and this is when I be talking about pulling rank, about, okay, well, we got to change this. So do you think you're going to put that on your guy, or you going to put it on Dan Campbell?
I want to use
hold on. Before you answer that,
go ahead.
Hold on. Before you answer that, Derek, can you put Rich Forrest's comment on the screen so we can come back to it? All right, go ahead, Mike.
When it comes to
yeah, okay,
right now for all these new players. Oh, okay, yeah, we can definitely come to that. So one of the things that we stole from Brad Holmes that other GMs get to do is pick their coach, and what I mean by that is John Schneider's biggest and best decision was hiring Mike Macdonald. Right? Hiring Mike Macdonald going out there and getting a good offensive coordinator. The talent on that team is not just top tier, S tier talent. They didn't win because they had the most talent on the team. They had the best coaching in the league. Right? So,
all right, but what about the years before that though? He's been a general manager since 2010. So we talking about
I'm just saying he picked Pete Carroll, said, "I'm tired of Pete. Let's go get Mike Macdonald." That's an even bolder move.
Yeah, but he had won a Super Bowl with Pete already, though.
He never had a subpar coach. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I got what you're saying.
He literally went out and said, "I'm gonna get great defensive minds," because that's what he got. He got great defensive minds. Pete Carroll's a really good defensive mind. He said, "Okay, I guess a lot of your success is more Dan Quinn than Pete Carroll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there and get Mike Macdonald." The last time we played a Mike Macdonald team, we got drubbed. Okay? When the Ravens destroyed us, that was Mike Macdonald. Okay? We looked like we didn't deserve to be on that field that day. And
you talking about when the same? You talking about you talking when Lamar had 9.4 seconds to throw the football? You talking about that one?
Hey.
Yep. Yeah, that's crazy.
Hey, but did we score? We scored everybody else. Did we
Jameer
score?
Gibbs did.
We scored at
Yeah,
the end of the game.
At the end of the game.
They let Jameer score.
That was his
like
first
the
TD, by
quarter.
the way. Yeah. Yeah.
So like that, and then the crazy thing is when Mike McDonald left, it's like they defense left. They haven't played defense since Mike left.
Mm.
So what I'm saying is, like, this scheme is dumb. He's trying to find ways to get He's trying to find ways to get players that can fit this scheme eventually. The crazy thing is, we've been drafting nose tackles and shaving them down to 3-techs. All of them coming in at 320, 330 and trying to get down to 305.
So somebody is dropping the ball. Somebody dropping. I don't know if it's Brad or Dan, but
I think in the very beginning, Sheila dropped the ball about not allowing her GM to be involved in the coaching search. That's always been my problem. Like I've never heard of that before this.
They hired Dan first. Right?
Yeah, they hired.
They hired.
No, they hired Brad first.
They hired Brad first.
Yeah,
and then they hired Dan like the next day.
So
for sure he had no part in it.
Yeah, but then they gave Dan the 6-year and Brad the 5-year. Yeah, I see what you're saying, bro. Like that's kind of awkward. That's kind of weird. It's like awkward. You know what I'm saying? You got different contracts, and I mean, you know, I think that we're gonna see this regime to me is about to split in a sense. You're about to start seeing the cracks in it because you've got the fact that they were hired separately. One was given more time than the other. And then I think there's going to have to be a separation of the two. And I think we're going to see that this year because like we talked about it on a different show about the inside, the dens, how it seems like they're not the same anymore. Even the draft room, it didn't seem as hype, you know what I'm saying, as it's been early on. So, you know, I don't know.
You know what? The one thing I disagree with about that is that there has to be a separation. I don't think there needs to be a separation. I think both of them need to go. If anybody's going to go, because then you're going to have the Brandon Beane situation. Brandon Beane was somehow promoted to team president after being the GM. Dayball is gone. So now what Buffalo is going to have to hope and pray about is that Dayball was the problem. Not Dayball, sorry. McDermott. They're gonna have they're gonna have to hope and pray that right. They're gonna have to hope and pray that McDermott was the problem and it was not Brandon Beane. So now if we say, okay, Dan, love you the face of the team, but it's your scheme is dumb. And you're stubborn and pigheaded and you won't change it. So we're gonna get rid of you. Now, since they've been so tied at the hip. Right? And they've loved every decision and Dan's loved every decision that Brad's made, loved every decision that Dan has made. Now we have to hope and pray that all of the Broderick Martin and the dumb picks that came were because this is what Dan asked him to do. Because if it's not, then we're stuck with those types of picks. Granted, awesome, you know, Jameer Gibbs, all that stuff was awesome. But those deficiencies that have put us in the hole that we're in, now we have to hope that doesn't carry over with Brad and the next coach that he picks. That's why I say both of them would need to go at the same time.
You know what? I think y'all saying a lot of stuff that makes sense because I think that, and you know what? That's how you will really know if Sheila a boss. Like you will really know. Like there's a lot of people that don't believe in her. She hasn't done anything to me that really has made me lose faith. But if she was to come out and say, you know what, we've relieved, you know, or that these guys won't be renewed because that's what's going to happen. She's not going to let them go prior to year 7. So we're talking about year 8. If they don't get renewed, I can see that being a real boss move and something that, you know, it's starting to grow on me because of what you guys are saying, that you don't want that automatic, like you got a GM that has to inherit a coach, and then you already know that it's like it might not work out, so you're gonna possibly lose time, like we did with the Caldwell Quinn thing. You know what I'm saying? So I that's really starting to grow on me, because Sheila might be like, look, it ain't about nostalgia or all grit. We trying to win Super Bowls, and she would have to really believe that Dan and the new GM could do that if she was to keep him. But I think y'all making a lot of sense. I don't think Lions fans gonna want to hear that, but I can see a situation where both of them go. Real talk, after year 7, because look, we're in year 7. We're talking about 7 years, bro. Like, how many do either one of them need after that? How do you not know after 7 years if one or both of these guys are the guys? So I don't know. But Rich Forrest got the comment. I wanted to get to this before it was too late. Says, come on, guys, give us an evaluation. Are they better now with all these new players than the end of last season? All right. So, Don, since you wanted me to put it up there, I'll get your take first.
None of you guys are going to know where this comes from. So shout out to you if you know, and you can use the hashtag. Not to my knowledge, no. Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge, no. Not to my knowledge. That no. They're not.
So that's it. That's it. Oh, wow. Okay. No elaboration. Okay.
So I mean, they're not better. I mean, like, so the only person here that we're saying is better than someone exited, and we'll just say this for Mike's sake, because Meek left. Okay. That was the first one I said. And we got Roger McCreary. That's it. I don't see, like I was saying, Alex Anzalone left. You're going to put Malcolm Rodriguez in his place. El Qadim Muhammad left. You're going to put DJ Wonnum in his place. Taylor Decker left. You're going to put Larry Borum in his place. No one cares about like Grant Stewart. In fact, he was a special teams guy. Yeah, he was a captain.
We got a guy. We got a guy for him too. We just got a guy. What's my man's name? The guy we signed today. Nope.
Yeah.
Damone Clark.
Damone
Clark. Yep.
Yeah.
Continue.
So I mean, Khalif Raymond left. Greg Dortch is good, right? But does a punt returner, unless he's Devin Hester, does he make your team that much better, right? So I don't know how many of these players that have left and then we've re-signed or we've then brought in a replacement have made your team better. I can't definitively say Larry Borum is better than Taylor Decker, because if he was, he wouldn't have been a backup for his whole career. I can't say that Rock Ya-Sin came back. Okay, cool. Rock Ya-Sin was already on the team. So that doesn't shift anything. He was already on the team. He's just re-signed. Malcolm Rodriguez, the shift is the fact that he was already on the team, but now he's probably penciled in as your starter over Alex Anzalone. And Alex Anzalone was our best coverage linebacker, and Malcolm Rodriguez is not our best coverage linebacker. So now we're worse in coverage from the linebacker situation. Is it over? Is Malcolm Rodriguez better than Alex Anzalone? No. Okay. That was my point. So that's the thing. How many of these people that have left can you say the replacements are better than? If you can say definitively, and let's just make it 3/4. If you can say 3/4 of the replacements are better than those who left, yes, the team is better. But I don't think you can do that.
Okay. Mike, you seem like you wanted to say something.
All right. So I think the team is what are we comparing it to, right? Like people act like we got the real Taylor Decker last year. Are we going to be better than 9 games of Taylor Decker? And like 6 of those games with one shoulder? I think so. Because the gap between Graham Glasgow and Cade Mays is massive. Cade Mays is way better. Graham Glasgow was probably the worst center in the NFL as far as I was concerned. right? And he didn't even play all the games. So it's
And Amik
like,
was the worst nigga.
oh yeah, he was. Oh yeah, I mean, he's like an anti-all-pro. You know what I'm saying? He's the antithesis of an all-pro. So like for me, it's just kind of like, I think we've reached a point where we're pretty close to where we were last year. And one of the things about having a lot of young people on your roster is you expect them to get better every year. Will that happen? We don't know, right? But at the end of the day, if we get a better version of Terrion Arnold, if he can duck the law, if he can pull an Afro Man and win his case, you know what I'm saying? If we can do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we worried about, the judicial system. They haven't even charged him yet. But like, if we get a better version of him, it's a good chance that we could be better. And then we're not even counting the draft, right? The places that we got worse were AQM, and personally, I'm hoping for a scheme change. If we can get away from running 3 linebackers, we could be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
hold out. No, hey, Mike, don't wait too long, my brother.
I'm a hold my breath. You know what I'm saying?
But we don't have that information. That's the problem. The only information we have is the players.
Yeah, you're right.
I have no faith in Shep. I have no faith in Shep. None.
Because I don't want to sound like I hate Shep. I just didn't feel as though he should have got the job, right? I know it's gonna sound crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Him.
I'm with you.
But I just wish we would have put a veteran in that spot, because he was in a position where he didn't have enough help around him. It's not like it's our strongest unit. We needed a veteran coordinator. And once you make that decision, it's hard to get out of it if you really like the guy. My only thing is, man,
I have a question. What is Sean McDermott doing?
Nothing. Let me know in the chat if he got, because I don't think he's doing. No, I don't think so. No. I could be wrong. Let me know. I have not seen. I'm tapped into all the media stuff. I do not think he has a job anywhere.
I'm trying to tell you, Jim Schwartz, Sean McDermott, Wink Martindale. It's a whole lot of people.
And you know what?
Has Jim Schwartz gotten a job? I thought he took a job somewhere. Jim Schwartz.
Did he?
No. They holding him hostage. I think they are holding him hostage. I think so. When he tried to leave, they wouldn't let him leave.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Are we better? To me, no, we're not better. And to go with a Rich comment, I am past training camp. I'm past preseason. I am past the entire 17-game season. I don't care about any of that except, will we have enough wins to get into the playoffs and do some damage? I'm not talking about, a wild card and win by 1 point. I'm not talking about a division round. I'm not talking about being up 17 and dropping that. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about somebody dropping something too as we in the show. But for me, I don't care, fellas. Like, are we better? I don't think we are. I think we got better at center. AQM, we lost the situational pass rusher, but we gained somebody that was better against the run. We forgot
about Monty.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Absolutely not.
We lost those 8 carries a game.
Stop it, bro. You want Lloyd running the rock? Pop, come on, bro. And they showing videos of him working out, bro. I have not bought into Pacheco. I have not, bro. I forgot he was on the team. I forgot Pacheco was on the team.
I forgot Monty was on the team last year.
Every time. Look.
That was Dan Campbell's fault. Dan Campbell and Johnny Morton. That was their fault.
It was. And believe it or not, Mike, I'm starting to look. I see the flaws Dan Campbell has, and I appreciate the dude, but my patience for him is running thin too. Because you got to be able to say, you know what, dog, you ain't working. You got to go. We got to make some changes. We got to make some. They might be too secure. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you going into year 6 of 7. You ain't got all day. You do not have all day to get this done. Like, because what if we sit in the same position next year? If we don't make the playoffs, eliminated in the wild card divisional, You know what I'm saying? I think for Sheila, she might be like, well, you guys made it to the NFC Championship game. We get blew out because we don't have no defense or whatever. And oh, you know what? I'll give you another 3 years. I believe in you guys. Or she gonna be like, look, yeah, it's do or die right now, because we in that crucial point, fellas, where we're starting to bleed over into the new regime. Contract extensions, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, those things are going over to the new regime where we could have one or both or neither of those guys on this team. And then Lions fans have a fit if in year 6 or whatever Jahmyr Gibbs will be in, new GM, new coach, like, look, we can get some value. They pull a Christian McCaffrey on them, a Carolina Panther on them, and ship them off. I'm just saying. So you got to be able to do this stuff in this amount of time. So I want to talk about this real quick as we wrap up the show. We off the air, we talk about some things, and I see on Twitter is like, if you hate your life, go on Twitter. Like, Twitter is, I understand now that they hate me, like they hate me. So I'll put something positive. Hey, the Lions made this. And they're like, shut up. You know what I'm saying? Or I just became a season ticket holder. Somebody was like, said, shut your butt up. I was like, dang. So I can't even win for losing. But they blame one man. I blame, you know who I blame, but they blame one man for our NFC Championship loss. And I think it's unfair. So, Mike, we talked about this off the air, and then Don, we'll get your thought. Do you think that Josh Reynolds, we going back all the way back to 2023, that NFC Championship game, do you think Josh Reynolds deserves as much blame as he gets for that loss?
I think he gets too much blame. You know, I feel like his coach shouldn't have put him in that position. You know, we should have taken the field goal, you know, went up 3 scores. The kicker that only missed 4 field goals in the 2 years he was with us, all of a sudden he lost all his talent. You know, I feel like what happens is people love Dan, and when you love somebody, sometimes you kind of run interference for them. And all of the issues that we had is like they didn't want to blame Dan Campbell, so they reached out for he shouldn't have dropped the pass. Like, okay, you know, what about when we could have tied the game and you didn't take the points? You said, no, we going for it again. We could have tied the game. 7 minutes left in the game. We could have had a chance to get a stop and score. And if we didn't get a stop, we still had a chance to get the ball back. It was just one of those situations where he put us in bad positions consistently. And what I would have did was take him out the game. We got all these other options. All these other J-Mo was balling in that game. J-Mo was balling in that game.
You take him out, who you gonna put in? Who you gonna put in?
Hey, run 2 tight end. You love Brock Wright every other time. Stop playing. Put 2 tight end, J-Mo and Amon-Ra. The people that's catching the ball. How about that?
How about we put in the guy we traded for, Donovan Peoples-Jones? I'm just saying. We did trade for DDJ.
Hey, whatever. I bet you he would. He could have been he could have been no worse than what that man dropped one ball, and it was just like he couldn't figure out what was going on. His hand stopped working. He didn't know what it was. It was like Ricky Bobby. He didn't know what to do with his hand.
Okay, Don, what you think? What you think about Josh Reynolds, man? It's like he get more. I mean, they destroy this dude every time the NFC Championship game comes up. Nothing else is mentioned but Josh Reynolds. How do you think he deserves the blame he got?
So I'm very different in the way that I place blame. I place blame on people that have responsibilities. This is a reason why I couldn't stand Matthew Stafford in Detroit, and I will argue with anyone who has, you know, this wonderful love take on Matthew Stafford in Detroit. Oh, he did put up, I don't care about the stats. He put up hella pick sixes, you know, on game-winning opportunity drives. He couldn't win a game against a freaking, what was he, like 7? And it was crazy. If you were 1 game over 500, the likelihood of you beating Matthew Stafford and the Lions was about 97%. Okay, we could be 2-1. Game number 4, no chance. Detroit Lions. So for me, the NFC Championship has a bunch of blame to go around. You could blame Dan Campbell for not taking the points. But the only reason that you blame Dan Campbell for not taking the points is that Josh Reynolds didn't catch the football. Right? So Josh Reynolds got the blame because he dropped the football twice. And then at the end of the game, you could blame Jared Goff for throwing a football behind Amon-Ra St. Brown on the other fourth down. But I don't think that all of the blame, I don't think the blame is slotted. I think the blame is equal because I think it was a perfect storm. Right? I think once that momentum shifted, everything went wrong. Jahmyr Gibbs hadn't fumbled all season. He fumbled there. I mean, he fumbled in the worst possible place on the 20-yard line. They took it right in there and, scored a touchdown after that. Kendall Vildor was in good position. The ball bounced off his face mask. Brandon Ayuk lost his mind, and you see he don't have no money from the NFL anymore because he lost his mind and thought he was that dude because he made a spectacular heads-up play. That was like a 1 in a million type of play. He saw that thing, and it was like the Matrix. That thing slowed down. He was like, no. Right? And he just jumped over and caught that thing. You know what I mean? He was like, he stopped time. He picked the ball out of the air. It was like, I'll take this. It's like Neo with the bullets. It was like this. So I think that the perfect storm is the problem. I don't think that we can place blame specifically on Dan Campbell. I don't think we can place blame specifically because here's the thing. Because we get into all the what ifs, right? What if Dan Campbell did take the points and Michael Badgley missed the field goal? Then what?
Yeah.
Then maybe we should have done what we were doing all season and go for it on fourth down. Now it's if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. So I think there's too much blame to go around to put it on one person.
Okay, Mike, let me go real quick. All right, so I agree with that. And for me, I think, Don, you saying the perfect storm is like the perfect analogy because you've got Michael Badgley, who was mid. He really was. And he was better from mid. But I think a couple of reasons as to, because it's almost like everything had an effect. So, for instance, our defense wasn't, to me, that great. So maybe, and Dan didn't trust the kicker. So then he tries to go for it on fourth down. And it wasn't like he hadn't been doing that. He'd been doing it all season. But like you said, it's like you get it. It's the greatest call of all time. You miss it, you're an idiot, right? And then you have the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble. I remember sitting in the stadium and I'm like, man, I felt so bad for him because the crowd coming alive. So you got the fumble, you got the Vildor, you got the Josh Reynolds. So you know what I think? I think, honestly, and I hate to use this because this is the first time I've ever said this because it just, with y'all talking, it kind of popped up. I think this is when you talk about like playoff experience, I think this is when it comes into play. Because if you look at what was happening, it was the first for who we got. Okay, so Frank Ragnow, he won for the first time. Taylor Decker had a win for the first time. Jared Goff had been to a Super Bowl. Amon-Ra was there for the first time. Josh Reynolds was with Jared Goff. So it's all this. Jahmyr Gibbs is a rookie. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe the jitters got to these guys. And because I think the Rams played, no, they had to go to the Saints when Josh Reynolds was, I think Josh was playing. But anyway, so it's like, I see what you mean, and as much as I boil down to Brad, and I know why I target Brad like I do, it's just like, dog, if you don't move off your behind and do stuff that need to be done, you know what I'm saying, and you talk a good game, but you haven't backed it up in 2.5 years, I think that's why, and we traded for Donovan Peoples-Jones when Danielle Hunter was right there, and I know it's we tried, and he didn't want to be traded, and all this stuff. Who cares, bro? If he don't have no trade clause, which I don't think he did, then, what are you doing? Right. So I think that, but what y'all saying is making sense though, about it being more than what. Do I blame Josh like that? No, because Josh was balling in the clutch game after game after game and had the worst game at the worst time. And it is his legacy in Detroit. So I don't think I think it is, I think it's equal amounts of blame to everybody, honestly.
One more before. Like the Vildor slander.
Oh my God.
The Vildor slander. Okay, look, Danny in Virginia Beach says there was no touchdown and Vildor didn't touch that ball. Vildor wasn't supposed to be out there. Vildor was a practice squad player that was on the field starting for us because we didn't have the proper amount of depth. Vildor played very well for who and what he was. He should not have been covering Brandon Ayuk. He should not have been on the field in the NFC Championship game, but he was who we had. So I don't blame a guy for you're not supposed to be in that position. You're just not supposed to be there. It's not for you.
You got a point, but I also have a counterpoint to that. Why is there any one-on-ones up 14? Why are you getting any one-on-ones up 14? Why are we not in some two-man under defense? Why is that not the case? Why my thing
and who's
with this, right? That's the
Dan.
coaches. That's coaches. But this is my thing, right? Because I'm all for risk. Like for me, there is a difference in the game once you're up 3 scores, right? That's always been my thing. Once you get up 3 scores, the other team start acting different. We always talk as if, you know, the defense was just so bad that the defense was so bad. They got up into the half, they were getting stops. After the half, the 49ers got the ball first. They kicked a field goal because of what? We got to stop, right? All of the offense and everything that got going all started off of that fourth down, like lack of conversion.
Wait, hold on. Mike, my bad, bro. Did we leave points on the board going into the half?
No, I felt like the half, we took the points.
We took the points. Okay, that's how we went. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was like, look, he's learning.
Bro, that game is like that game is like one of them you watch these TV shows where they take, put this memory inside of a box and never touch it. Like, so I remember being there. But I also had COVID, so I felt like literally like I wasn't even there. I was like, what's happening? So are we losing? We're about to lose. Like, so I couldn't remember. All I know is we're up 17, and I'm like, ain't no way. We got 30 minutes of football left, and that's all I can think about. I'm hearing Lions fans outside like, we going to the Super Bowl. It's people planning trips. I got people in this ear like, man, I wonder how much it costs to get to Vegas. And I'm saying, I got my COVID beers, and I'm like, it's too early, y'all. We got to finish. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't even remember if we left points on the board.
Yeah,
Shout out Better Than Hunt. That is actually, that's a point.
Let me see. I was just about to highlight this. Shout out to Better Than Hunt with the super chat says, when the wheels fell off in the NFC Championship game, Dan's mindset, I believe, was going for it would swing the momentum back. He was trying to stop the bleeding and instead compounded the wound. All right, let me say this, and I'll get y'all thoughts and we'll wrap up the show. Bro, Better Than Hunt, that is probably the most accurate statement anybody can make, because being there, it was like, and I want to, make this a rated R stream, but it was the equivalent of like John Wick. You know what I'm saying? In John Wick 4, or all the movies combined, is what the 49ers were doing to us, because the crowd went from nothing. Y'all, listen, y'all had to be there. Like, TV didn't do it justice. This stadium was the quietest. Like, if I farted, the whole stadium could hear it. Like, literally, they could hear it on the field, and 49ers fans they had their hands in between their legs, and they weren't talking like they usually do. And I mean, it was like they were shocked that this 3 seed, the little old dastardly Lions, were beating their tail. And then as it started to come back, because the fumble, the Vildor, and I think it was Vildor, right? What popped it off? What popped off like the comeback?
Right. So it all happened so fast, right? So we didn't convert the fourth down, and it was like 2 plays later they bomb us, and then right after they scored that touchdown, we fumbled. Like, it was all super fast. I didn't even to this day, the first time we played this game, I was in the bathroom when Jahmyr Gibbs fumbled. I came back, I'm like, hold on, how did he get the ball back? I'm sitting there like, what is the world going on? I'm sitting there like, oh no. I'm sitting there like, yo, Because I'm sitting there thinking, like, even with that score, I'm like, yo, they gotta work the clock and all this other stuff. They still behind. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get myself together, go to the bathroom, come back. I was like, hold on, they got the ball. No time pass. I haven't been gone that long. Like, what just happened? And then I had, yo, I'm trying to tell you, because I do a lot of times when I'm watching the game with enemies. All right. We talk a lot of trash. You know what I'm saying? My friend group are not Lions fans. So I come out of the bathroom to smiles and giggles. All right. They know I'm about to lose it. I was like, hold on, what? He's like, yo, 49ers got the ball. I'm like, huh? Like, oh no, bro. I was in there, I was spazzing. It was just one of those things. Like, I watched that game so many times at this point, because I'm sitting there thinking, like, we got.
How do you do that to yourself? I don't understand that,
right, bro.
I don't,
bro. Because I had to understand it. I remember I think it was 3rd and 4, where Brock Purdy runs through one of the gaps and it goes through Aiden Hutchinson's arms.
Yeah,
like I was like, bro, it was so many different ways that we could have got back in that game. Like the flea flicker that goes through Jameson Williams' hands. Like I'll never forget these. Right, so it's just like,
I swear you like to torture yourself. You probably wake up in the morning like that dude. What's the dude from Clockwork Orange, man? You got them. You probably sleep with the things like, watch it. You. It's crazy, man.
Like, yo, because people notice that I spaz out when Dan does stuff like that in that game, like later. Like in other games, like the Eagles game reminded me of the NFC Championship. It said that we never were good in that game.
No.
It was just like, hey, we're just gonna keep going for it. Like, I know we 0-3, but these next 2 attempts, we gonna get it. Like, I'm sitting there like, bro, like, let it go. Like, when you're playing a great defense, it doesn't matter if it's 4th and 3. You're playing a great defense.
Yeah.
Like, any yard is a hard yard against a great defense. Yeah. Like, it's ridiculous.
All right, Don. Well, let's get your thoughts to wrap up the show, man. On that, what better to Hunt his comment.
No, 100%. Just like you said, I believe that is the best way that you could sum it up. He was trying to perform surgery, and he shoved that bullet right down deeper into the wound.
Yeah,
that thing just bled out. That was it.
It was probably one of the worst experiences as a everything about it, bro. Like from start to once. Everything was great until the second half. Like the tailgating, everything, man, was great. Even the atmosphere, like y'all ain't gonna do nothing, blah, blah, blah. And then we are taking like straight BTA and we are destroying, and they don't even know what to do with it. They're so condescending. They had no idea what was coming. And, and then once they started coming back, it was like you gave them some type of drug and they couldn't stop. But that's gonna be the show. We try to keep it to an hour so we can get back to work or do whatever that we have to do for the rest of the day. But we'll wrap up saying this. We still got a couple guys to talk about as far as the moves and stuff that the Lions have made. We brought some guys that we didn't get into, but it's okay because we want to have that type of conversation where this is like homie sitting on the couch, but we in different parts of the world. So with that being said, man, we will catch y'all on Friday if everything goes well, and we look forward to seeing you guys then. All right, peace out.